Hi everyone and welcome to the Business Success Summit. The title of today's interview is Speak Up, Your Voice is the Success of Your Business. My name is Daniela Killus and today I'm talking with a communication architect, a passionate storyteller and leader in high heels, Tulia Lopes. Hi Tulia.
Hi Daniela, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today, being interviewed by you.
Tulia is Europe's leading communication, public speaking, and leadership expert for women who want to speak up, stand out, and lead. She believes communication is the key to develop and excel in any field in life. Her background in architecture gives her the skills to understand, connect, and bring solutions to people's needs. Her experience in leading positions in the IT environment, together with being an entrepreneur for over 15 years, motivated her to support women to have an assertive voice. She's the founder of All Summit, a platform to give voice to women, which has been presented in several countries in Europe. She's also the Speak Up and Lead Academy founder, a program which supports women to develop a confident presence and strong voice in any stage they step in. Tulia is also the author of the book Leading in High Heels, a step-by-step book that helps women to assess their leadership skills and find the techniques to improve further. Her motto is, I'm a creator. If I don't find a door, I build one. Tulia, it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise, Daniela. When we're like listening to you with all these descriptions of myself, I think, oh my God, this is a lot.
Yes, you've done a lot, Tulia. So today you will share with us why communication is the key for development in any business and how this skill can bring visibility, and having a clear communication positions ourselves as experts to raise above the noisy crowd. So Tulia, I am so excited to hear about that. Why don't we just start with why communication is key for the development of any business?
Well, you said it all. I think it's, if you cannot express what you were giving to the public, to the world out there, then you cannot get them engaged with you. So it's very important first that you understand yourself, what exactly you want to offer to the world out there. Doesn't matter if it's services or products, the communication of what you want and how to get there to your audience is crucial for the success of your business, to the success of how many people will engage with you, would like to buy from you, would like to hear from you.
Absolutely. So how is communication the key skills to bring visibility in a business? And how do we develop it, really, that we get visible?
Communication is innate. We all talk, we all speak, we communicate somehow. But however, to do it effectively, it really requires practicing and training our skills. And for the business itself, is crucial because we are living in a moment where we are bombarded by information all over. And with the internet, with all the benefits we have from the internet, the downside of it is that there is too much noise out there. Everybody has the opportunity to speak up, and everybody has the opportunity to do it in a very constant and automatized and overloading way. So therefore, we providing a service, designing a product, we really have to be able to raise our voice above this crowdy and noisy environment. So more than before, communication became a key element for your business. I have an analogy that I share with my clients and students, which is in the past. I don't know if you remember, if you're from this time when we had the guys coming with the suitcase, knocking your door, selling you products. And this guy would go village by village, city by city, selling that. And that was what it was available. That was like, this person will come to you and say, here is what is on at the moment, you should have it. And that was it, because you didn't have any way to compare that to any other reference if that was really the right thing. Nowadays, let's put the same guy, if he comes knocking the door, nobody's going to open that door for him. But what is the position of the person selling products right now is going to the city, this village, to the center of the city, which is our international and global environment, and having to speak up and raise the voice and to attract people to come to you and listen, and then decide if they want or not your product or services. Because nowadays people can choose, they can research, before making a decision, they have a lot of resources and possibilities to research if that what you're offering is really the best, is really what the person needs at the moment, and if there's anything else out there. So therefore, our way to project ourselves, our businesses, became even more important. And I say even further that our business now is very much more related to who we are than before. As I said, coming to the guy knocking the door, he will bring products. Now he has to go to the center of the city, the town, to engage people and to convince, to persuade people that, hey, listen to me, what I have here is the best. And for that, you really need to develop these skills.
Absolutely. I agree that today, in this noisy, crowded world where we have access to everything and to everybody online, this is absolutely key in business. And I think that many more people who have their own business have to understand that. Even people who don't have a business, they're just in a job, still need to understand that. So Tulia, how having a clear message positions ourselves as experts in our business above everybody else? And what are your takes on how do we develop this clear message?
I go back to what I said, with like your message now has to come from you, has to be really aligned to who you are. And I would say that the sales and marketing has always been an emotional skill. But in the past, we didn't have this, we like as professionals in the field of entrepreneurs and small business owners, we didn't have that concept. We will focus on developing something, a product, and then serving it and trying to get the attraction of our customers somehow. But because of all we said before, this noisy crowd, we really have to bring this authenticity to our product. And this authenticity can only come from yourself, from who you are. Who is this person behind the product? Of course, you have to explain what your product or services is, but people are more aligned, more willing to listen to the ones that have a story behind the product or services they are providing. So this is why it's so important for us, small businesses, entrepreneurs, that we get back to find this voice inside of us. Why do we do what we do? And why we want our service to get there? There is a research from the World Economic Forum saying that the crucial skills for this 21st century, 3 ones at top of the line are: the first one, active listening; second one is speaking, meaning communicating; and the third one, the critical thinking. So it's really, really crucial for us right now to really understand what exactly we want to offer and develop our message from there. And the big mistake, Daniela, I see many people fall into when presenting their products or when pitching for the products or services, or even talking to a prospect client, they are so committed to what they want and what they are serving, what the product is. They come with all the best intention, but their focus is on the product and on the service. When your focus should be on your audience? How do I pack my conversation in a way, in a language that my audience will be receptive to? Because the same product, the same service, depending on the audience, the demographics, they have to be packaged. In your communication, it has to be communicated in a different manner, using different languages and using different elements that audience can understand. So for us, entrepreneurs out there, business owners out there, it's time for us to really step back and look at yourself and understand first what type of person I am, what type of communication style I have, who is my audience, and how do I bridge what I'm offering, my services and products, to this audience. And you might find out that you have to build different bridges depending on the situation you are.
Absolutely. So when you say different bridges, could it be also different channels? For example, in your communication academy, you have different parts that you help people with, be it making a presentation to present in a small audience, for people being on stage. But is it also the kind of communication that people write in their social media or in videos? Is it also kind of communication in written form? What is the essence of how you help people? And how do you help them discover what's the best way to get the message out there, to communicate it to the ideal audience?
My way of helping people is really helping them to find their authentic voice. Because to me, is not me giving you skills that you can put in practice, that you can master by practicing over and over, but the skills that then you don't align with who you are. I give it a concrete example. So someone who is an introvert and someone who is an extrovert has a way of communicating completely different, but both can be very effective. I cannot ask an introvert person to use a big space, because this person, when she or he communicates, they usually use a very little space. But even with that using little space in a big stage, you can still be very effective if you really know what you're talking about, what you're talking about is aligned with your truth, with what you believe. Like then for the other side, the extrovert, there is people that use a lot of space, which I mean like me, we gesticulate, we can have a lot of space to move from one side to another. So let's explore this and allow the person to give an effective message using that space that she or he feels comfortable with. So if I try to restrain that person, so then this person would not give the best on her message, because she will feel that I need more space for that. So the first thing is we need to understand the type of communicator we are and which are the skills we already have, and polish them. And from there, increase what we can do better and take the most of what we already have. Because the important thing is, no matter the size of your audience, if it's 1 people or 1,000, you have to be yourself. And you have to understand of using your space. Even as an introvert, you can use a little bit more space. You're not going to be running from one side to another in a big stage, but you can learn how to move a little bit more, how to expand your gestures a little bit more without feeling uncomfortable. Because the important thing is when you find that, when you find your voice, when you find who you are, how I express myself, I'm okay, I'm happy with the way I come across, then nobody can push you down. When you go on stage, you're grounded. This is what I say, you have to be grounded and you have to own your message. When you have that, nobody can push you down. You can even receive challenge questions, because sometimes comes when you present, you have some challenging questions coming to you, but that will be challenging questions that always makes you feel nervous. That's normal, but that will not put you down. which is a very big difference from people that just train to present as in a package, to present in a way that I know what I have to say, I look good that way, but if that is not aligned with who you are, if you receive some challenging questions, even more like, think about when you're pitching, when you're presenting a project for like your superiors, etc., anything will shake your ground. And then you will lose your authority in that moment, because people will feel it, your audience will feel it. So when you come on stage and when you come in talking to people, you ground it and you bring with you your authentic voice. You might feel like, well, I don't know the answer for this. I don't have the answer right now. You might feel like, oh, I didn't expect that, but that will not put in a very dramatic way, demolish you. Because that's what I see that happens with professionals sometimes, because of this misalignment. Even if they come with an amazing project, but they forgot about the communication to the audience, and this project is not really aligned to their core. There are many businesses out there, they want to make money. They build something thinking, oh, this will bring me money. Of course, we in business, we want to make money. But if that is not aligned with who you are, guess what? You're not going to get so far with your money quest, because anyone will be able to push you down, because people will feel that there's something there that's missing. And we, as an audience, as a client, as a prospect, as someone sitting there listening to you, we sense it. We sense it that something there is not there.
Absolutely. I think people don't realize that actually the audience senses in a way very quickly if you are aligned, if you are kind of real, if what you're saying is real. Is there a way, or is there a tool, or what it is that you do with people so that really they discover what's their authentic voice? When you say authentic voice, I mean, is there a tool? How do we do that? I mean, what's the authentic voice?
That's a very complex question to answer, I'll put that way, because there's no really let's say a toolbox that you say, okay, I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, and then I have my authentic voice. It requires you really getting to deep inside you. And my work with you would be, Daniela, if you come to my program, would be, I will have some questions, some exercises that will force you, well, let's say not force, that it will drive you, to help you to ask yourself very, very deep questions about who you are and where you want to be, and why do you want to have this voice out there. So by answering these questions, you start understanding who you really are. We work on your presence, then you also understand what type of person I am, because believe me, many people have a completely different perception of themselves from what is in fact they come across, on how people perceive them. So then you see there's already a misalignment there. And if I'm thinking I'm coming across in a way, but people are receiving me in a different way, there's no way I'm going to be successful in my business, whatever it is, because my message is coming across in a not aligned with my audience. So this is the process. The first process is getting back to you, getting back to understand who you are, where you're standing right now, what the skills you already have, and then developing this confidence. Because the beauty about it is, when you go through this process of finding your authentic voice, you are building up your self-confidence. And when you build your confidence is when you really, let's say, become unstoppable in a way, because you know where you're standing. So the 3 steps that I work with people from the beginning is to develop a confident presence, then craft effective presentations. So then we will understand structuring, how to structure a presentation, but also who is my audience? What's the language I have to communicate with them? What exactly I want to tell them? How do I want them to feel? And then the third one is the public. is the performance, meaning can be in front of one person, can be in front of 1,000. How do I have to prepare myself to come across effectively, aligned with my message? So these are the, if I can say, the three pillars of the process that I work with them. And then from there, we can expand even further. But the important, for me, these three pillars are fundamental. They are crucial for you to create this foundation for your authentic voice and to build up your credibility as a professional, as a speaker, as whoever you want to be out there, to be seen out there.
Amazing, great insights. And I think, I mean, you as an architect, you know that the fundament on which we build something, as you said, is the most important. Very often I see in my own coaching and mentoring other business and other entrepreneurs, I see that they just, sometimes they get, oh, I need to do things quickly and push out there. And then I tell them always, ground yourself first, understand what is the strategy, and then you build, and then you go out. Rather spend some time really thinking about how you're going to do this on not only in the short term, but also think more long term. So build this fundament is so important, as you said, Tulia. I have also another question about, you know, I come across many people who said, yeah, but if I go on stage, I mean, I should be like a TEDx speaker. We have social media, so we're watching TEDx. We have all these videos of other experts, and they look so amazing, and they're so entertaining, and they're so good. What would you say to people if they are, you know, constrained of that because they see so many good people, and that doesn't make them even start, you know?
Yeah, TED became really a reference in terms of platform for people to share their knowledge and share, and as I say, ideas worth spreading. But saying that, I wouldn't say for the TED, the big event, but TEDx, not all TEDx talks are good talks. We know that. It's an opportunity for you to be there, but not everybody is well prepared. And I believe that also is related to the team who organizes that particular TEDx. If you have a team who is very good in terms of public speaking, on stage presence, they will coach their speakers, and of course their performance of their speakers there will be better. But the one thing I would say to everybody, nobody is a skill to be learned. And this is something that we have to have in mind, because many people think, okay, I can go there and I speak. And many people call themselves a speaker because they just they gave like a talk in the cafe corner of their company, and then they are speakers. Good for them for being so enthusiastic. However, to be really someone there with a message, even more when your message is related to your business, you really have to take that seriously. So they are, and this is why we go through this process of learning techniques, learning who we are, learning techniques, and practicing over and over. I started this journey almost 10 years ago, and every time I go on stage is a new learning. I always learn something. There's always something there for me to polish even further. I learn by watching other people. I learn by practicing my preaching. And my call to people is, yes, you too, anybody can develop a good presentation and develop a good and effective public speaking presence. But we have to work. It's as any other skill. You have to take it into consideration and as something that you have to learn and practice. Of course, some people would have like a more talent for catching it faster and will deliver results faster. But this happens to any sort of a skill or business that you have to do. It depends the person, it depends the experience, but also depends on how the person is committed to do so. So we have to consider speaking as a skill to be learned, and don't take it for granted. And nowadays, I repeat myself again, that is the skill for us to project, to position ourselves as an expert, to position our business, to raise our profile. And therefore, when you position yourself, you raise your profile, you increase your income as well, because you build up your authority, your credibility. And stages became key nowadays, because when you put together the noisy crowd, the noisy internet, the noisy social media, that we don't really know who is who, how real, how for real are these people out there, what they are saying. More and more seeing the people there on stage, standing on their voice and delivering effective message, became the key for a successful business.
Absolutely. And I mean, though you train people in all ways of becoming effective communicators, you have a lot of experience, especially training people to speak on stages. My question is there a special field of business owners, of people who should aim towards speaking on stages, maybe selling on stages, whereas others should not do that? What's your take on that?
I believe the stage, I believe everybody should love to be on stage, because it's such an important, an amazing opportunity to connect with the audience. Because let's say sometimes, Daniela, you and I, you know, we go on stage to talk about our business and even sell, but sometimes we go to share inspirational stories. So we all have this ability, because we all have a story inside of us to share. And there's always someone there in that audience that needs to hear what you have to say on that moment in time. And that is powerful. When you come to on stage thinking, okay, I'm here to give an important message. People don't care about you. They want to know what you have to give to them. And when you align with this message, you come giving this full, powerful message to them, you are making difference from that moment. So back to your question, any specific field or professional that should be willing more to that? I think everybody. I think absolutely every profession, and even the more technical, the more they have to work, because then they have a communication that can, I would say, is a little bit broken. Yeah, because if you're too technical, your communication goes in a structure, your way of thinking, your way of expressing yourself comes in a structure that doesn't bring the flow that connects you like, a natural way with your audience. So these people in technical fields, health systems, all the academics, they really do need to reassess themselves and see how they are communicating out there. Because we have to think about the past, the typical type of lecturer, okay? It was the one that will come there and throw the information to the students, and you go home and figure it out. Nowadays, if you really want to be successful, you really need to engage. If you come like a pitching your product, or if you come even sharing what your products or services are about, but you just throw there, this is what I do, but you don't connect them in a story, they are not going to follow you. Because remember, now they can search, they have too many options to choose. They are not just taking anybody that comes in front of them and tell, hey, this is my best product, but this is my service and you need that. And one of the main, we know, if you can research on the internet and watch his videos, it's known to be one of the best storytellers. It was Stephen Jobs, because for every product, and he was in product, which is even more tricky. But for every product he had a story behind. And he made people to feel part of that story. So when you feel part of that story, I want to buy that story. I want to be there first. I want to be part of this community. So nowadays, your communication is about you building community. Doesn't matter if you are working offline or online. So in both, you have to consider building your communities, because there's, again, I will be repetitive, there's too much noise out there. People they don't know where to go. You should be that one that raise their hand, so here, follow me. And they say, oh, that's the person I want to follow. Let's forget about everybody. So yes, it applies to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're in services or in products, in what stage you are, you should really consider assessing your communication and your communication style, how you're communicating to your towards your clients, and how effective you are so far. And if not, you have some work to do.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that, you have your Speak Up and Lead Academy program, and you gave us a few insights about what is in there and how people start. So when you get people who, hey, they say, I want to be on stage, I would like to become a speaker, I would like maybe to sell my offerings, maybe on video, maybe using better communication in events, or even on stages. So what are the steps that you would advise them to take when they're just starting? Because once if you're started, everything is easier, but the first steps that they should do.
I always say, if you start right, the path to get the results is shorter. Let's say when you get a mentor, when you get a coach to help you from the beginning, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have to do the work, but you might avoid some unnecessary pitfalls. So what I would suggest people is, really, if they're serious in having this leap in their, and to position themselves, their businesses and services, that they should consider getting someone to show them the way, and then work through that path with people. Usually with your mentor or coach, because usually what people do, they just go there and go speaking. Of course, you go learning by practicing, but if you don't receive feedback, what happens is you might not be being so effective, and you don't know. You just keep repeating the same mistake over and over.
Yeah,
and then you don't know why you're not succeeding, why you're not reaching the results you want. I would say that get into a proper training and get someone, set the goals with the person. That's what I do in my training. Each person has a different goal. It's not everybody that wants to be on stage. Let's define the stage here, because for me, stage is, I'm talking here with you, this is one stage, and it can be like I'm in a meeting room, it's a different stage, and I can be in the official stage, auditorium, sitting in front of hundreds of people. So that requires different types of communication, language flows, and etc., and that you're gonna structure, that you're gonna bring in the message that you want to give. But for each of those, for all of them, you need to be prepared. So you can say, okay, I'm going to just go and say something, and that's fine. It's not really fine, because what I've seen is many people miss this opportunity, miss the opportunity that they're having these people there waiting to listen to you, and they come and they give a poor presentation. And this poor presentation might even damage their reputation, and you might not have a second opportunity. So you have to be very careful with ideas. You have to go through an official training. You can even go to Toastmasters. I am a Toastmaster myself. I think Toastmasters, we always praise Toastmasters because it's an excellent platform for you to start in this process, because it's learning by doing. They have a very systematic training, but it's learning by doing. There's nobody there. There's no, how can I say, exams, but you go growing. But it's a longer process, because it's learning by doing at your own pace. So people, they can take their time. So the big difference working with someone like me or other professionals like that is because we set specific targets. I have my own structure where I take you through it, but we set specific targets. And if you are someone who wants to be in big stage, so then we are going to have to tailor your coaching or your mentoring in a way that you also communicate through your products, through your writings, through your blogs, and to attract big stage at you.
Absolutely, I agree. Having a mentor is key for almost everything that you need or you want to do in life. Tulia, as we're coming towards the end of our interview, I want you to share something that I have heard you sharing many times, but here for our audience. Um, and it is about the pitching, because that's one of the first and the basic things that I know you work with business owners and people who would like to communicate better. So you have these three things that you make them write out and that creates a better pitch. It's something so basic. Would you like to share that with our audience, please?
Of course. Well, this is my little secret, but anyway, I'll share it here. It's not a little,
just a little secret only for the people who are here on the Business Success Summit. Thank you for listening here.
No, it's not really a secret. In fact, I have to confess, I took that from my mentor. So
well, actually, I must.
You just started here.
Yeah, I have to say that even if people who are just starting out or people who are more advanced are doing this wrong. So it's actually seeing so many business owners, I know this is so helpful for them.
It goes back to what we said, and it's very simple. You guys there, you can make notes. The first thing you have to know, who is your audience? I said this before. Who is your audience? What they like. You have to learn about your audience as much as you can. Is they are your market. So the second one, which is their problem. What is the problem they have? And then what is your solution to that problem? Because people buy the solution for the problems. They like, I don't know if you heard about this one, Daniela, people buy, if they have a headache, they buy the medicine to cure their headache, not vitamins. So it's very important that your solution to the problem really kills the problem. So when you consider that, you can put that very systematic in your pitch, saying, my audience is this, they have this challenge, and this is my solution. And you can craft it in a very beautifully short, and that's it. Because this is what you're going to say when someone that big questions in most of the environments we are in, network environments, we are in social events, when people say to you, ask you, what do you do? And then you say, oh, I'm a coach. And then, no, I'm a life coach, or I do this, but you're not specific. And you don't give them this, I want to know more. Because if you say a life coach, there's so many people who are excellent life coach out there, but what is special about you? I give you my example. If I put these 3 points in what I do, when people ask me, what do you do, Tulia? I said, I work with professional women who have the challenge to lead teams, to give presentations, and to be speaking public, and I help them to find that, to build their confidence through their authentic voice, through developing their communication skills. So with that, people say, oh, that's interesting. That is clear. And I'm not saying there, oh, I am a communication coach. Even when they say I'm a communication architect, because I use that as a playing with the fact that I am an architect and I work with communication, but that doesn't really give an information what exactly what I do and who is my audience and what is the problem I'm solving for that audience. So that is my tip that I leave to the audience, to this the people watching us here at the Business Success Summit. So put that in practice. Your market, your challenge, and your solution.
Absolutely. This is so valuable. I hope people listening here can really understand the deep meaning that this has. So Tulia, how would you sum up everything we have discussed today in a few final thoughts and advice to all our listeners? So we bring all together.
To bring all together, back to the title saying, speak up, your voice is the success of your business. Trust that, work on your voice. You have a voice out there, every voice matters, and you have a story to share, which is aligned to why you're doing whatever you're doing. And work on that, find these skills that you have inside of you, but don't underestimate the work involved in developing effective communication in order to really raise your profile and position yourself as an expert in your field through your message.
Thank you, Tulia, for a great interview. I'm sure all the business owners and marketers in our audience were listening very intently and are excited to get started and succeed with the tips and communication skills that you shared. So thank you very much for sharing your experience and your expertise so graciously. Do you have any other products or programs you would like our audience to know about?
Well, I have my live events with my master classes starting in January. So for the ones here in this part of the world, in Europe, close to Germany, in Switzerland, you're more than welcome to join me live. Daniela will include all the links to that. But I also have some online, I will give you some free online trainings that you can give you some spices and some taste on what you can do to improve your communication skills to have a successful business out there.
Absolutely. We will add these tips and links here in the show notes. So again, thank you, Tulia, for your time. And thank you, all the business owners and marketers in our audience, for joining us in this amazing presentation about how to have a clear message, speak up, and increase your confidence and influence with the right communication. So I'm Daniela Killus, and thanks for joining us on the Business Success Summit. Have a great day.